Now you've got this homestand coming up, and 8 of the next 10 at home. Just talk about maybe getting off the road and finally being back home for the first time since December 15th, what it means to your team.
Well, it'll be nice. I mean, got here first thing this morning. The first thing Colin Olson said, him and I were the first two guys here, and first thing he said, it's just nice to be home. Nice to be skating in here. It's been a long time since we skated in here, and I think it showed a little bit today. I thought that somewhat of a feeling out stages again coming into this building. And it'll be nice to be back home. I think we got to come in here and play with an attitude.
What's different about playing on the road? Obviously, the travel and all that. Just on the ice, does the team play differently at home and on the road?
It can be. I mean, the major difference on the road is you only can bring so many players. So at home, you got a full roster. You can hold some players accountable. On the road, you're a limited roster. I think that at times on the road, though, you're a little bit closer as a group. Everything's controlled. There's no outside distractions, so I think we'll have to get that back into our game. Certainly on Friday is try to find a way to limit the outside distractions and really focus on the game.
Speaking of the roster, are you close to full strength again?
We're close.
Some guys back last week.
Yeah, we're close. I wouldn't say we're 100%, but I think we're closer than we have been since day one. It's nice to get some of those bodies back into the lineup and knock the rust off.
Who's back? Can you say who's back?
Yeah, everyone's back. Yeah, so everyone's back.
Greco, how do you look last weekend?
He looked pretty good. I mean, he scored, had some offensive opportunities, some scoring chances, was involved, which he needs to be as an offensive player. You could see some of the rust, though, and it's hard to be thrown back into it, especially the second half of the year when you miss first half. As a freshman, all of a sudden trying to get up to speed. A lot of the other players have really moved on and really improved their game just because of the time spent in practice and on the ice in terms of games. And I think you saw that with Grex. I think you see that with Sammy Jardine. I think it's probably even more difficult for a defenseman.
I was going to ask about Sam. How's he helped the offense in the 4 games that he's been back?
I mean, it's been yes and no. It's helped in terms of the power play because we can put a power play unit back together and have some consistency. So I think that first and foremost helps. I think offensively, he's just got to move the puck. I think he has the ability to jump into the play and provide some offense. It's going to, like I said, it's going to take some time for him to get up to game speed. It's not easy for a defenseman to miss the first half and then come back into it game speed.
You guys are 1 point back from Lake Superior State. How important is it to come in here and beat them, especially coming after a couple losses?
We're not so worried about Lake State. We're worried about ourselves, and that's why we approach it. I think that's what we talked about on the ice here today, that we've got to worry about ourselves. Don't worry about all the external circumstances or anything that's going on outside of our locker room, outside of our rink. And I think our guys, for the most part, they approach the game the right way. They approach practice the right way, and that has to be our focus.
How much have the injuries affected your team, especially offense?
Drastically. We haven't had any chemistry. We haven't had any kind of continuity. I mean, the roster's been different almost every game because of it. Unfortunately, you don't want to use that as an excuse at all. You got to fight through that, and hopefully, it's going to help our overall depth with our team, help overall competitiveness of our team. But it's definitely affected it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. What kind of chemistry can you have? Lineup changes all the time. Power play changes all the time. It puts you back on your heels.
How good can this team be offensively?
Can be very good. You saw it this past weekend. You're on the road, tough place to play, different size ice, where our guys aren't used to playing on an Olympic sheet. And we had 18 scoring chances on Friday, 17 on Saturday, or Friday at 18, Saturday 17. Only gave up a handful both nights, and you come away empty-handed, but our guys generate a ton of offense, probably the most all year. So hopefully that bodes well for us down the stretch.
Remember at the start of the year you talked about you couldn't wait for the second half to see these guys get some experience under their belt, things like that, and then obviously kind of all the injuries happen. Do you still think that ceiling is there though for this team, even with all the guys missing kind of what they missed?
Well, you guys have to get to game speed quickly. There's not enough time to sit around and ease into it. Now you're thrown into the fire, and I think the sky's still the limit. I think our guys have the right attitude. Like I said, we haven't had to say much during practice, trying to ask them to bring up their level of competitiveness. Now it's just a matter of getting some sort of comfort and chemistry going with the lines, and try to keep some lines together, try to keep some power plays together, and see if we can develop some of the chemistry that's needed in our game.